All right. Conor McGregor versus Diaz, Nate Diaz, 2. I have to say this match was better than the first one. Oh my God. The first match ended in submission. Nate Diaz got the submission on Conor McGregor, and it was apparent that Conor, fighting at that higher weight, he went up about, almost 20 pounds or more, or more. Yeah. And he just didn't have the same striking power that he had before. Also, I think he underestimated Nate in that first match because Nate was able to take a lot of his hits. Nate's defense was tight. He would keep his hands up a lot more and everything like that. That was the last one. It ended in submission. I think every one of McGregor's losses are in submission. He's never been knocked out, I don't believe. Even before UFC, I think all his losses were in by submission. But anyway, this one, oh my God, it was way more drama. It was more brutal. It appears that McGregor learned his lesson, and he knew he had to take his time and use his superior striking skills against Nate. Now, Nate has a longer reach, and Nate, by far, isn't a bad fighter. I have to say that Nate's really good. He has a lot of skill and talent. He's really good on the ground with groundwork, and he's okay at striking too. He's not bad. But the thing is, I think he underestimated Conor going into this. Conor was patient, took his time, and he really used a lot of kicks to the legs to throw Nate off balance, also to surprise him, and possibly even weaken his foot movement. But Conor was using those kicks really early on, and it seemed to be working for him. Conor also was, very patient, moved his head, did his slight and subtle movements and adjustments right before he strike. And you saw Nate throwing a lot of wild punches, and Conor dropped him 3 times in this match. Conor did his thing. He did his homework. He learned from his mistakes. He stayed composed. He did his thing. I would say the first 2 rounds definitely go to Conor. He dropped him. And the thing is, Nate's a tough guy. He's a tough cookie. Conor said it himself after the match. Nate's a pretty tough guy. He's a good competitor. You can see that. Nate started to come back with the strike. And as soon as he started having more defense, because he would leave his arms down after he threw a punch. And I think that was his way of trying to open Conor up to throw a punch so then he can counter that Conor was going to do. But it wasn't working. So Nate kept his arms up, and he would forcefully go in. And every time he had Conor against the cage, it was his. And I believe if they got on the ground more, that it would have probably been Nate's game too. Nate's very long, and he's got some skills. Like I said, he has a lot of other skills besides striking. But Conor did his thing. Nate started to come back in the later rounds. I would say 3, 4, and 5. Nate did his thing. He did. He got him against the cage. If Conor landed a hit, he was like, okay, I'm going to take these hits. I'm going to go in, tight defense, take these hits and deliver it to him. But I'm saying it could have went either way for me. And if they gave it to Conor, I think which they did, I think that's justifiable because Conor did extremely well. He was landing so many more clean shots. And you can see they were precise, and he took his time. He planned them out. He had a target, and he went for it. And it seemed like Nate in this match was more so having to bring more out of him. There was a couple times where I thought Conor was in trouble, man. A couple times I thought he was in trouble, but that's not his natural weight for competing, in UFC. I don't know if Nate should go down to 155, to face Conor for the 3rd match because that's just, it seems too low of a weight for his body type. I don't think it would be a good idea. Maybe 160, but 155 seems a lot. Even 160 might be too much for Nate to do. But they both want a 3rd match. Nate wants it more than Conor. Conor's like, it's going to be on my terms. It has to be at my weight. And whose water is this? But I have to say, overall, that was a really, really grueling match. You got to see the same thing again. If you look, Nate's face was all busted up. That's not to say Nate didn't get some good hits on Conor, because he did, especially when he had him against the cages, and he dropped them in the last seconds of the last round. And Conor might have been in trouble if you would have gave it 20 more seconds. If he had 20 more seconds to spare, Conor might have been in trouble, man. That's what Nate wanted. I think he wanted that all night. He wanted to get him down because he knew if I get him down, I got him. Nate could have won on his feet, but this wasn't his night. Conor did his thing. He executed his game plan well. He learned from his mistakes from the first time. But anyway, that's all I got to say about UFC 202. Sometimes I cover some sports. It's going to be a lot of football coming up soon. But yeah, I cover like the top you know, like, it's got to be a really good, it's something that I'm interested in. I won't cover sports all the time, but I will cover a lot more sports. But anyway, that's all I got. Like the video if you like the video. Write some comments. Let me know, do you guys like McGregor? I like Nate and I like McGregor. I think I like Nate a little bit more, but I like McGregor for his showmanship. And he talks a lot of trash and he's good for the sport, I guess. Same thing with Mayweather. You know what I mean? It's trying to be the same thing. But anyway, yeah, share it and subscribe. Comments. Like my video, please. Come back. Have some more videos for you later today. Yeah.